Today is July 30th, and I'm on the Pacific Crest Trail. Before coming out here, I planned on kind of forcing myself to just do like 12 or 15 miles so I didn't hurt myself and just get off to a good start and feel good the next day, that type of thing. And then for some reason I hiked 27 miles. So I ended up hiking after dark a little ways, and finally I was going down some switchbacks, and whenever I straightened out, just like a few small ones, and whenever I straightened out, I saw something white in the distance, and I was shining my flashlight on it. And then I stopped shining my flashlight on it because I was like, that might be a tent. So I got closer, and there were 3 tents in a pretty big camping area. I felt so freaking relieved. So I ended up stopping there around 9:30. And like the last stretch before that, like when it was getting dark and then after it had kind of gotten dark, the part of the trail that I was on like sloped off to the left, and there were 3 times where I like just misstepped and slipped, and luckily all 3 of them were like not that big of a deal. It was scary and I got tripped up, but I never fell, and never, like my left foot never slid all the way down the slope or anything. I felt out of it. I was like being clumsy. I was just walking through pretty dense woods, and to my right it just opened up and I can see a few different mountains, like really cool looking mountains. I started off yesterday like so excited, and I was cruising. That's why I got off to a fast start. I was just like so excited to be out here, and then I stopped around 12:30 or so, and I was like, I really need to just rest and not like push my body too hard. And so I did for a while, but the flies were just swarming me the whole time. I ended up just kind of getting tired of sitting around, and so I took off again. But yeah, it's been cool being out here. It's like I've heard about this plenty, where your mind wanders a lot, and like as beautiful as everything is out here, I still think about Yellowstone a lot, like leaving the new friends I made this year, leaving them behind in Yellowstone. I'll probably think about that a whole lot, just maybe kind of in lonely situations, being like, man, I could also be camping just in Yellowstone with friends. So yeah, I feel like that's going to be kind of a weird dynamic on this trip. But yeah, I'm going to miss the social life I had at Yellowstone big time. I didn't video any yesterday because I just wanted to take everything in and make progress. But I'll probably video a lot of stuff today. This 30-mile section is like so beautiful. So anyway, talk to you later. I'm feeling good this morning, even though my body feels rough. Like, I'm happy to be out here. Everything's beautiful. And yesterday, like all morning, I had kind of like mixed emotions of a lot of like me thinking, crud, while I'm out here, like I could be like hanging out with friends in Yellowstone and also camping with people that I know and like, and then I won't be camping for like a crazy amount of time. I'll be camping for a couple days or a few days, and then going to play basketball and going to play softball and kicking the soccer ball around and making a consistent income and not having financial stress. Just stuff like that. That was like really on my mind yesterday morning. And then I got back to some of the like really crazy views, like really, really pretty stuff. And I don't know if that kind of snapped me out of like the negative thoughts or whatever, or I think just doing something like this is your emotions are all over the place. I really enjoyed the second half of yesterday, and right now I'm just kind of like in the mindset. I guess maybe it's just to prevent like the daunting schedule and distance, but I'm just kind of in the mindset where I'm like, I want to stay out here long enough to like get my money's worth for like the travel out here, and I shipped food to a couple spots. I definitely want to get to those places and get that food and not let it go to waste, which those are just like kind of the next two stops in Washington. And then I'm kind of like, once I feel like I've gotten my money's worth and seen some really cool stuff, then I'm just gonna like really play it by ear and just go until I'm finished. So yeah, I mean, I had such a good social life in Yellowstone that being taken out of that, it's kind of a bummer, and it like makes me feel lonely when I'm not just like enjoying the present. I think about that a lot. So it's pretty crazy, like just looking at yesterday, how the first half of the day I was like, I'm not into this. Like, this isn't for me. And then the second half of the day I was just cruising and smiling and enjoying the sights and like loving being out here. So we'll see how my mood swings from day to day. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy how differently I felt at different parts of the day. So I know I've already talked about this, but I want to reiterate how crazy it was that how like not into this hike I was on day 2 in the morning, where I was just like, kept thinking to myself, I'm not into this. Like, I don't really care to do this. This isn't for me. And then later that day, it just got amazing, and it's been good ever since. I was like bummed that I couldn't stay on the trail whenever I had to go into town, especially because I had to like stop in the evening, like pretty early in the evening, and then just hang out all day because of I was getting picked up at Hart's Pass, so I had to stay close to Hart's Pass. And then I had to go into town in the morning, and then I wasn't able to get back on trail till this morning. So just losing like that many hours was a bummer, but I was never like unhappy or anything like that. It was just like, oh crud, I wanted to hike farther and hike more, but I don't know, it'll be good. I got a lot of stuff done when I was in town. I had made a to-do list, and it was pretty big. I sewed a couple patches on my backpack. I talked to Mom a few times throughout the day, but I needed to talk to her like as soon as I had service, because I want to replace my shoes. On the first day in the evening, I was having some trouble on my heel, like it was rubbing my heel raw. And then I took my shoe off to look at it and saw a hole And I thought that was the problem, but it ended up being my insole was just pushed over. So the left side of my heel was just like rubbing against the bottom of the shoe underneath the insole. And so I've learned all I have to do is pull the insole over, and it solves the problem. So that's nice. And then, but I mean, I bought these shoes used. I put a couple 100 miles on them in Yellowstone. All right, I paused for a second because I passed somebody on trail, but I mean, like I think I said, the shoes are used. I put a couple 100 miles on them in Yellowstone. Yeah, I'm just worried they're not, I mean, I don't think they're going to last like hundreds of miles, like shoes designed for this wood. So, I'm reading some trail signs right now. There's the Medhow Trail spur. So, seeing where I need to go. So yeah, my shoes are good right now, but I still want to get some at Stevens Pass. I think it's over 100 miles away from here. So yeah, I might be ready for new shoes by then anyway. So that was a big reason I needed to talk to Mom. And now I'm at a water source, so I'm going to stop and fill up with some water. I saw a glacier today, and the trail, I worked my way up a little ways, and it was really pretty. Went through a burned area that I think Lion from Lion's Den, Mary, said that the burn happened in 2004. So, like, the vegetation on the ground was real pretty, and the trees looked cool. So it was a really nice burned area to walk through. And then I ended up going around a mountain, and on the other side, it was just like this. You could see this big semicircle of the trail, like you just could follow the trail all the way around, like 3 different mountains. And then I walked that and got to see it from all angles. Right now I just stopped to look at a really cool overlook. It's a valley where it's pretty much burned. It's like halfway up one mountain, all the way up the other mountain has all been burned. Probably in that 2004 burn, because it looks the same. Anyway, so that was neat, getting to see the trail that far ahead, and then doing that throughout the morning. And I've seen a couple groups of northbound hikers. So I've seen, I don't know, maybe a dozen people going northbound. And where the glacier was, it was like you were across. I was across a valley looking at some mountains, and the glacier was up in the mountains. And that area was so cool looking. And then you could just see switchbacks going down, down, down. It was awesome. And so then I walked those the rest of the morning, or probably a little bit of the morning, because I ate lunch at the overlook, looking at the glacier and those mountains. And then after breakfast, after lunch at 11 something, I headed down. So I was probably doing the switchbacks mostly afternoon. But yeah, I've been enjoying myself. I've been on my own, which has been fine. And yeah, ever since the second day where I was not into it, and then later on in the day I started enjoying it, I've been enjoying myself ever since. I'm just planning to go until I'm not enjoying it anymore. Let's see. Oh, yesterday was my birthday, and got birthday wishes from a bunch of people, and hadn't responded to them since I was in town. And then Colin called me and left a message, and then I was able to call him back and visited with him for a while, so that was nice. And let's see, that was another like little additional part of me being bummed about not being on trail yesterday. Was I was like, man, I gotta go buy food on my birthday instead of walking through the woods. But yeah, it was fine. It was a really good day, and my body is probably in way better shape because I had to stop for it. Oh, whenever I was talking to Mom yesterday, she said, I've seen some of Brittany's Instagram posts lately, and some of the pictures are so beautiful. And I was thinking, if Justin saw some of these, he would walk right off trail. I thought that was funny. Like, she knows how much I miss Yellowstone. But anyway, one of the, I think, big problems I've been having, like this year I've done a bunch of awesome stuff, especially compared to the last few years. But this year's been like a really good year, and I still think like the grass is greener on the other side in certain situations. Like with Yellowstone, I was thinking I want to go out on a PCT, and then I left Yellowstone and was like, oh crud, I want to go back to Yellowstone. And even I think the first evening I was definitely thinking about it. Yeah, I'm surely I was thinking about it. And then the second morning I was big time thinking about like wanting to be back there. Like, since I've been enjoying the PCT for the last few days, I've been able to be like, okay, I've thought this would be an awesome adventure for years and years now, and I'm doing it. Like, I'm hiking, and yeah, I've been able to be, I mean, I need to be more in the present. I have been able to, since I've been happy. I need to be all the time. But so I guess that's all for now. I'm gonna keep walking, and then keep walking and keep walking. Today's my 6th day on the Pacific Crest Trail, and I started off this morning with incredible views. I camped just amongst a bunch of mountains, and I was really high up. And whenever I started, I was going up for a ways, up some switchbacks. Like, my camp was pretty much at the base of some switchbacks that were already, I was already really high up the mountain. And then this went up to the top and wrapped around. So I saw like a whole bunch of mountains to start my morning. And then there was like some really beautiful terrain, like kind of some of what I like the most, where it's like beautiful low vegetation with boulders all over the place, like boulders kind of scattered all around. Just cool looking stuff left over by glaciers. And then and mountains all around, and it ruled big time. Later in the day, there was this white butterfly that I was like, that I've really been enjoying seeing. And I was like, oh, I hope I get to video one of those later. And I was refilling my water, and one of those butterflies landed on my sock, and it was like searching for pollen big time. Like, it hung out for a while. I got up and put my water away and grabbed my camera and sat back down, and it was still on me. So I got to video it and stuff. And that was really neat. But I pretty much am still constantly thinking about how much I miss Yellowstone. A lot of the hike today, like right now, I'm in forest with like a lot of underbrush, and I've been walking through like a ton of underbrush. I've walked through some really cool dense forest with like too thick of a canopy for stuff to grow on the ground. So I love those kind of forests the most. So I've gotten to walk through quite a bit of that today. I've been pretty much, after my climbing elevation this morning, it's been all downhill, and I'm camping 4 miles outside of the road to Stehekin. That's just as close as I can camp before I go to Stehekin tomorrow to pick up some food. And it'll be all downhill to there. Anyway, it's the views here. Like, I've seen some incredible mountains. I've seen some stuff that was so awesome. But it's just like, I don't think this is my style of hiking and camping, because the incredible stuff I've seen, it's like I stop and look and then take off again. So I don't get to like really take it in as much as I would the way I've camped in the past. I feel like coming to some of these places that I've seen that are the most beautiful, and just spending some time and doing different trails instead of like hustling through on the PCT is way more my style. I mean, it's why I've enjoyed camping so much in the past, and the amount I've enjoyed camping in the past is what made me think I would like the PCT, because you just camp every day and hike. But yeah, this seems like too much of a, okay, gotta get here, and I'm not taking stuff in as much as I would on a normal camping trip, and then I definitely like variety in life. Like, Yellowstone ruled so much because I could go camping on the weekends, and then I could play softball during the week, and basketball during the week, and volleyball during the week, and whatever other activities came up. And on days where there weren't activities, I could go shoot hoops and kick the soccer ball around, and like invite people to hang out and play board games. And still, with like, I wasn't getting my fill of camping at Yellowstone, and that's a big reason I wanted to come out here. But I think like always wanting to do it is a great place to be in. Like, I was getting to do it I was getting to camp every weekend, and always wanting to camp more is like not really a problem, because all my free time I was having fun. So I don't know, I don't know if in the past, if I ever thought like camping and hiking this much wouldn't be amazing. But yeah, now that I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, I value variety too much for this. Like, I have too many hobbies and like to do different things all the time instead of just the same thing every single day. So anyway, I think I'm going to stop and eat soon. That's my journal entry for today. Hopefully it was short enough. Yesterday was insanely long, and I need to tighten them up. Today's August 4th, day 7. I just saw a black bear. I stopped to look at a waterfall, and hung out for a while until I just couldn't handle the flies and the ants anymore. Just like ants crawling all over me and my stuff, flies landing all over me. The waterfall is really pretty. But after I hung out for a little while there, I got back on trail, and pretty much as soon as I stepped on trail, like looking up the trail, it was like windy and pretty open with trees like kind of wide from the trail. It like went up a little ways and then dropped back down, and at the top of that spot there was a black bear standing there, or it was walking actually towards me on the trail. I saw it before it saw me, and so I yelled at it, and it stopped, and its ears were up, which means it was being curious, or it was curious. And I just like waved my arms and talked to it for a second, and then it took off running to its right and my left. And then I walked down the trail that way and just talked the whole way. But I never saw it again or heard it any. So I don't know. When it took off running, I don't know how far it ran. But I also saw a bear yesterday. So right now I'm in the Glacier Peak Wilderness. So that's where I saw this bear. And then yesterday in North Cascades National Park, I saw another bear. And so I stopped to eat at they have two designated campsites in the park, within the park, for PCT hikers, where you don't have to have a backcountry permit like a normal one. And God, I think something bit me on the forehead. It's been hurting. But so I was planning on camping at the second one, but I stopped at the first one to eat and stretch and stuff. And then so I did that, hung out there for a while, and I was the only person there. And then on my way out, it was like a little spur trail with really high underbrush, like this whole section of Washington has been. Just like low visibility, kind of scraggly underbrush. And I heard the bear run before I saw it. So it heard me and I spooked it, and it took off running from my right to the left. It crossed the trail, so I saw it whenever it came out and crossed the trail. And then I saw it run a little ways, like a pretty short distance, but I saw it run for a moment off the trail, and then it went back into like brush that was too thick and tall for me to see it anymore. But I could hear it running a little bit, and then it stopped kind of quick after that. So I backed up a few steps and was talking quite a bit, and then just started walking forward, and I went down the trail as I talked. But I also saw an eagle yesterday, and I saw a huge swatting at stuff that was like landing on me or biting me. I just like slapped my phone out of my hand. But I saw like this humongous tree, and right after that, God, these freaking flies, man. Right after that, I saw a big old frog. I was so excited to see all those animals. And then pretty much the rest of the time, I just kept thinking about how soon do I want to quit on this trail. Getting annoyed by like being able to hear water for miles at a time and not see it, or like catching glimpses of waterfalls and then not really being able to see them well at all, like expecting the trail to go towards them and give you a good view and then break back away. And that never happens, or it rarely happens. So just like getting annoyed by the trail design. So anyway, I was like thinking, should I just go into Stehekin, take the ferry out, get a bus to Stevens Pass, picking up my food, or kind of like the hike this morning. I was in less pain than I expected because I've started getting blisters and I'm like so sweaty out here. So yeah, I was thinking about just taking off, but since I wasn't in much pain this morning, I was like, screw it, I'll just keep going to Stevens Pass and I can get both of my boxes and then get a bus out of there. Or if for some reason I decide that I like this trail by that point, then maybe keep going. I really doubt I'm going to go past Stevens Pass, but because the Goat Rocks Wilderness is like one of the areas I most want to see, but the way this trail is, I think I'd rather just make a trip there. Like I could do like a Goat Rocks trip in the future, like a North Cascades trip, and then maybe whenever I was between Harts Pass and the border, all the stuff out to the west, like there were so many mountains that I was like, God, those are amazing. It'd be cool to find some trails through there. And then even I'm going through the Glacier Peak Wilderness right now, and I was looking at a map earlier that shows like a lot of the glaciers in the area. So I'm walking south probably tomorrow, maybe even starting later today. There'll be like a bunch of glaciers to the east of me. Like I saw a bunch of, or I was looking at the map and I saw trails that like go by some of the lakes up there and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, I want to go on those trails. So anyway, I could just stop at Stevens Pass and then just come back to Washington later and go on like some good backcountry trips instead of whatever this thing is, this racetrack that I'm on. Alright, I'm on day 9 of the trip. It's August 6th. I'm in a really beautiful part of the trail. It's like there's so many mountains in the direction I just came from. Like so many mountains south of me. And it just makes me like, why the heck am I just now seeing all these? Why didn't the trail go where I was able to see these insane mountains most of the time? But I don't know, it makes me, I mean, like I would definitely rather be on trails that go through those mountains and give you good views of those mountains than just see them like for a fraction of the day whenever I get really high up and then they're all in the distance and then I have to walk away from all of them. It's kind of crazy. But I mean, it does rule seeing them this morning and yesterday evening. Yeah, where I camped, it was like, it was high enough and exposed enough where, like going into camp the last few minutes of my hike, I got to see like really cool mountain views in the distance, and now I'm getting to see them again. So let's see. Oh, for the past, I don't know, like 70 something hours, I've been somewhere between like soaking wet, dripping wet, or damp. Like I haven't really been dry in a really long time. I had my shirt off for a long time because it was just like soaked through with sweat. And then I got to camp and I had to drape it over my tent. And luckily it dried out that night. But then I put it on and in the morning, and then as soon as I started hiking, it was just soaked through again. So I hung it from my backpack. And then all day it was on my backpack. And then whenever I got into camp, it was wet. Like I actually put it on for lunch yesterday and it was dry. And that was nice. But then since I started sweating, as soon as I started hiking, I just put it on my backpack again. And then I tried to put it on last night and it was just all wet, I guess from hitting all the vegetation I was walking through. But this morning it was wet, but it was chilly enough where I just put it on and then like rubbed it a whole bunch, try to warm it up and get it the same temperature as my body. But it's been really uncomfortable. It sucks going, like last night, laying in bed with just like drenched underwear and like my hair soaking wet. But as of that campsite, I've got, and where I started, woke up and started this morning, which was just a moment ago, I've got less than 68 miles to Stevens Pass. So 3 days of hiking, and then I really doubt I'll get there on that third day of hiking. I'll probably just camp close by and then go into Stevens Pass in the morning. But I'll at least be done and getting off this trail, and then I can go back to enjoying hiking and camping. I'm definitely liking parts of this, like the good views make me happy. Like I'm like really happy to see a lot of these views. But yeah, I don't know. I just am not into this trip. I don't really like this trail. So I guess that's all for now. It is August 7th, about 10:40, and it's kind of funny how I'm like singing Baby Keem in my head and giggling and like smiling a bunch because the scenery rules so much right now. It's funny how much of a difference good scenery versus scenery that I'm not into makes. And I don't know, I feel bad that I feel like a lot of the stuff I don't like, I'm probably just taking for granted. And like most people, or a lot of people would probably love to have seen some of the areas that I got to see and just wasn't into. But yeah, I don't know. Still dripping sweat. Still been staying wet day after day after day. Actually, yesterday evening I got to put my shirt on because I felt wind a couple times, or maybe even a few times. I was able to cool off enough, and I didn't go to bed soaking wet. That was nice. So anyway, I had a pretty crazy creek crossing yesterday. Like, it was unexpected because everything's had bridges, but I made it through that fine. And I don't think it was too insane, but it was all glacial melt and the water was brown and opaque, and so it was really intimidating. It was rushing hard. There was a stick there that I used as a walking stick to cross because I don't have trekking poles. That helped big time. for me to like feel my way, feel the depth, and stay stable. I don't think I mentioned I saw a third bear on my day. The day I left Stehekin. Talked about the one that I saw by the waterfall that day, and then later in the evening, I had been going through like a bunch of just the huge plants, like overhead high, like tons of vegetation that I really didn't like. And then I came out to like a small burned area with a bunch of trees knocked down and stuff. I saw a bear in front of me on the trail there. That one was facing away from me, and I just called out to it when I saw it. But it was like up a hill. It was like a really close, small hill, but it was steep, and it was like towards the top of that. And I started talking to it, and it just kind of like looked to the right a little bit. It didn't turn all the way around to look at me. And then it kept walking. And then it went out of sight pretty quick because it was at the top of the hill already. And then I didn't see which direction it went. And it didn't like scurry off. So I don't know if it went over the top and then took off or... But anyway, since I didn't see where it went, and it was walking like in the direction I was walking next to the trail, I was pretty worried that it was just gonna follow the trail and I was gonna get too close to it. But I just kept walking and talking, and I never saw it again, so it got out of there. But anyway, let's see what else. I don't know, there have been a lot of times where I'm going through areas like, this sucks, I wish I would have got off in Stehekin. And there have been a lot of times where I've been like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful, I'm glad I'm going a little bit farther. But anyway, I'll be hiking all day today, hiking all day tomorrow, and I think I'll be in Stevens Pass the next day.